Alright, welcome back to Blue Collar Homestead. Today's video, we are going to fix that lawnmower. I got this from my neighbor, I don't know, probably a year and a half ago. Basically, this lawnmower sat for 5 or 6 years. He said it needed a belt and a tire or something like that, and he just never got around to fixing it and ended up buying a new one and gave me this one. So you can take a look here. I mean, I've already power washed everything off here. This is a 17 horse, 17 and a half Briggs or whatever, but needs a carburetor, air filter, all that kind of stuff, which I got off Amazon for like 25 bucks. Or not, yeah, I think it was Amazon I ordered it from, but I'll tell you what, never ever buy a new lawnmower. I mean, I'm 48 and I've never ever walked into a store and bought a brand new lawnmower. Usually you can find people getting rid of stuff that doesn't work, and it's usually something that's fairly easy to fix. So on occasion you will get one that's got a blown engine or something like that, but what I'm going to have to do though is I'm going to go get the big tractor with the forks. We're going to pick this up and we're going to put it on the other side of this gate in front of the garage, and we're going to tear this thing apart, put a new carburetor on it, new air filter, new spark plug, throw some gas in it and see how it does. So let me grab the tractor and get this on the other side of the gate. That way the dog is not running away with my screwdrivers and my parts and all that other stuff. He's probably whining right now because I'm out here and he's not. So let's get this moved and then we'll get started. Alright, now that we got the tractor moved, and of course you can see the dog sniffing around over there where the tractor used to sit. We got that moved. I guess the next step is we're going to open this box of goodies and see what kind of parts we got in this. So let me grab this. Of course I come in the garage. I just put this back in here yesterday. I come home, about an hour later I see that. Apparently from sitting so long, the water pump, I guess the bearings on it must have rotted out or something, but at some point I'm going to have to fix that. But for now, we're going to deal with this. So let's set the camera down here on the table, and we are going to see what they gave us in this box. There should be a carburetor, a spark plug, this is the air filter. Like I said, this kit was like, I don't know, 25 bucks from Amazon or something. Alright, we got our spark plug, which is good. Fuel filter, fuel shutoff, fuel line, which is good. There's some gaskets and stuff on here. That looks like the choke. We got the carburetor. This is carburetor and a couple of hose clamps. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take the hood off of the tractor just to get it out of the way. Otherwise it'll be a huge pain. So I think we're just going to lift this off, and we're going to get to it and get this thing running. I can tell you what, this is a Troy-Bilt 17 and a half horse Briggs and Stratton, like I said, but I can already tell you the thing I don't like about this tractor is this tiny little gas tank. I mean, I've been running a Cub Cadet, that Cub Cadet right there, for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, something like that. The gas tank on that thing will hold, I want to say it's like 3 or 4 gallons or something like that. Like, I can cut the grass like 3 times before I got to fill it up. Now, with this thing looks like it holds, I don't know, a gallon and a half, maybe 2 gallons. I guarantee I'm going to have to fill that up every time, and I get it. It is what it is, but the other thing too is the gas cap on this one is really small, which means you need the spout or a funnel. Now, the Cub Cadet has that gigantic gas cap on it. I mean, the hole is like big enough to fit a league ball through, or a tennis ball. I mean, it's a big hole to put the gas in. I'm just wondering if Cub Cadet saw what was on the horizon as far as, you know, the gas can getting messed up, and now the gas cans are not like they used to be. Maybe that's why Cub Cadet made that giant hole. When I go to put gas in that, I don't need a funnel. I don't even have the spout. I take the thing completely off and just dump the whole can in there. It's super easy. But, well, let's get the hood off of this thing and start taking it apart and, you know, see what happens. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop off this air filter cover one way or another. Yeah, you see that screen in there. It's kind of ugly. Air filter's definitely seen better days. That's garbage. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to disconnect this fuel line. Now this fuel line, even though the new kit came with one, I already replaced this, but I think it had a leak somewhere, so I think we're going to replace it anyway. But for starters, we're going to take this carburetor off. So unplug that on the bottom. Alright, there's a plastic pipe here that comes off this whole piece. The carburetor is kind of sandwiched in between it. So this is a 3/8. We're going to pull these two 3/8 bolts off. And then this whole pipe should come out with the carburetor attached to it. Probably should have grabbed a ratchet. It might have been easier, but yeah, we'll see what happens. See how this goes, but definitely going to have to clean all this off before we put it back together. I'm not going to put dirt on a brand new carburetor. This thing looks pretty gnarly. You guys can't see everything from where you're sitting, but from where I'm sitting, it looks pretty bad. Now, I did have this carburetor apart before, and it was just way beyond even thinking about trying to clean it off because it was just that dirty. You know, it was to the point where the parts were so corroded that it just wouldn't have been a good idea to even think about messing with it. So another thing too that's kind of handy is when you're doing something like this, I mean, you can see on top of the carburetor, there's a couple different holes where all these little linkages go. And if you want to remember where they go, you get your phone out, take a picture, you know, take a few pictures. Anytime you're taking something apart, grab a few pictures, just in case you have a question later about how did this go back together. You'll have the pictures to fall back on as a reference to, you know, see where everything went. Now, yeah, this is kind of a weird setup. So, like I said, this carburetor is kind of sandwiched in between these two plastic pieces. So this is a 7/16. Getting this apart, if I can get in there. Just got to get that loose. Whoops, there goes the wrench. So, you guys can kind of see what's going on there. So, gonna pull this apart. And then, all right, that's apart. Definitely don't want to lose none of that. Comes off of there. Wow, you can even see inside there. There's a whole bunch of dirt in there. We're going to have to clean all these pieces. And then this should... Oh, wait, no, you got to unscrew this. Okay, I see what's going on here. Apparently that unscrews both sides. Those were just hand tight. They weren't really... There we go. Yeah, that looks pretty gnarly, too. We're going to clean that off, too. You see that piece just fell off, this one here. So, we're going to, this is the choke, I believe. We're going to set that off to the side. And then we got to get these guys off. This little connecting rod, probably for the throttle. This one here is a spring. Got to get that off of there. And can I get off of there? All right. That's going to be it for this carburetor. You can kind of see what's going on there. So let me get the other one out and get it together, making sure it's got all the same gadgets on it, because I think this came with some extra parts. This carburetor is, the new carburetor that I ordered is actually for several different applications. It's the same carburetor for like a whole bunch of different engines. So let me grab that. get it all put back together the way so it looks like this and has all the little parts, and then we'll start putting this back together. What is it, Tank? We'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I got my parts cleaned out that need to be cleaned out on the insides. This guy is going to screw back onto there, but first I got to get the gasket. I almost overlooked that part. That wouldn't have worked. Got to get the gasket that goes around here out of the bag. So, yeah, goofy thing is they sell you all these little parts that come in this bag, and the only thing we're going to use out of here for this application is this. There's a couple clamps in here for the fuel line, but looks like the only thing we're going to use is this, the gasket. Tank, what do you got, buddy? Yeah, he's over there chewing on a stick. Alright, so we're going to take that. Got our gasket on there. Going to put this guy right back here. Screw these in. And these were screwed in by hand, but I'm just going to take the wheel nose and give a little twist on them. I don't want any leaks. That's the end of the carburetor that goes to the engine. If you have any kind of air leak in there, it's not going to run right. So I'd rather just put a little bit of pressure on that to crush the gasket a little bit. All right, now we got this guy. This guy's got an O-ring on it, which is in good shape. They don't give you a new O-ring to go in there, but the one on here is pretty beefy. So, plus this is the side that goes to the air filter. It's not as crucial as the other side. So let me get this tightened up. And then we are going to put this back on the engine, start hooking everything up, and then we're going to deal with the gas tank. And when you're doing this kind of stuff to an old tractor that you don't know much about, or an old lawnmower, you definitely want to get the engine to run first before you worry about anything else like the tires or the belts or any of that stuff, because if the engine doesn't run, don't waste your money on the other stuff, because it ain't going to matter. The whole thing's garbage, you know. If this doesn't work, which I'm confident it will, because I sprayed starter fluid down the carburetor before we started this project, and it ran and it sounded good. It's just the carburetor was so clogged that it wouldn't, keep up. So I'm going to dig out my phone, look and see where all these things went again. Hence the reason I took the picture. So let me get these hooked up, get this back on, and then, you know, let me see here. Maybe I could just do that right here. I don't remember where these go. Even I forget. So yeah, sometimes you're better off taking pictures. Alright. See, we got the new carburetor on. The linkages are all hooked up. Everybody's good. Now I'm going to throw that guy in there. I cleaned out the inside here where this air filter is going to sit. I'm going to throw that in there. Then we're going to put this cover back on. Then we're going to get this gas tank off. Even though this fuel line's new, I had a problem with it leaking, so I think we're just going to go ahead and replace all this with the stuff that came with the kit. We're going to put some gas in this thing and see what it does. So let me get this cover on, get that gas tank out, and then we'll get to it. All right. See everything that's going on here. This is only held in with a zip tie. So we're going to cut that off. Pull this out. And I had these on there. You know what? I'm confident this fuel line probably isn't the problem. It looks like it was leaking right about here. But what we're going to do, just to make sure, is we are going to remove all of these little pinch clamps. We're going to get rid of all these, and we're going to put regular hose clamps on there. You know, those things, I don't know if I trust those, obviously. So now, I just got to see if I can get all this to break free. I did this a couple of months ago. I put all this together, and that one clearly leaked. So, now it's just a matter of getting these hoses off. You know, hoses are, once they go on, they have a tendency to, I'm just going to put that there so I know what direction that goes. Do this side. Actually, you know what? I don't even have to do that. Let's get these off of here. That goes that way. Alright. I'm going to pull this guy off of here. I'm going to put this on here. I did bring a socket over here. We're going to put a socket on this thing. We're going to screw that on there, and hopefully we won't have any kind of issues, any kind of leaks. Last thing you want is a fuel leak on something that runs on gas. That's a great way to start yourself on fire. Okay, now there's usually an arrow on these things. Let me see the other one. It doesn't really say. Yeah, I think it goes this way. That's the way we're going to go. That's going to go that way. That's how it was before. It's not clogged either direction, so that's going to go there. I'm going to put this clamp on here. Then after this is all done, what we're going to do is we are going to go get the battery out of the other lawn tractor and put it in this one to make sure, you know, this thing will start and run. I'm not going to go out and buy a brand new battery for a tractor I'm unsure of, you know what I mean? So we're going to put a hose clamp on that. Alright, I'm going to drop this guy back in. Like I said, this gas tank is kind of comical because it's so small. It's just kind of ridiculous. Like, all this money on a tractor, and this is what you get, this tiny little gas tank. It's kind of funny. So, alright, let's get this on here. Alright, I'm going to get this back down. We're going to get the strap back on here, and then we're going to get the battery and see if this thing works. Alright, carburetor's on, fuel line's on. Got about a third of a tank of gas. I just loaded the battery in. Let's see if this thing's going to run. I guess we'll choke it for starters. That it works. Probably going to have to adjust a couple things. This thing hasn't ran like that in probably 6 or 7 years, but it appears to run good. So I'm going to try to get air in this tire. I might actually pull the deck off and throw a little WD-40 on all the bearings on the pulleys, because somebody's shooting at something. Anyways, yeah, because these might be a little bit on the stuck side, so we're going to see about that. But that's basically it. So like I said, never ever ever go into a store and buy a lawnmower, man. I mean, YouTube is your friend. You can go on YouTube, you can find how to put, you know, carburetors and parts on just about any motor. So like I said, the carburetor was like 25 bucks, came with everything, and basically by the time it's all said and done, I might have 50 bucks into this lawn tractor, and it'll probably last me a number of years. So never ever buy a lawnmower. So like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you on the next video.